Now your
Now
favorite bit of news.
a really interesting one that's had my mind racing.
So, do you remember how I mentioned what if you were like certain actors are too old that we've brought up
Mhm.
many a time for Fantastic Four? Um, and I said, well, what if they've already been around? And we've both agreed that does bring up the issue of where the fuck have they been.
Mhm.
Um, but the rumor is that we're gonna get a Fantastic Four set in the 60s.
Yeah. So the rumor is they're going to be set in the 60s and then they're going to be displaced. Now, are you ready for why my mind's been racing?
Okay.
You remember there's the actor from A Good Place
Yes.
set to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania,
Yes.
and there were
We were
rumors
like,
suggesting he could be Reed Richards, and I went, I don't I don't think that's true because why would Reed Richards be in the quantum realm?
hmm.
Well, now we have a reason why he could potentially be in the quantum realm.
And where the fuck they've been. Well, where at least he's been.
That I mean, fall into the quantum realm in the 60s. You're in there, you're fighting
Well,
Kang and
look
stuff.
at the
You think you've
style
been
of the
there 5 years.
TVA.
You've been there for 70. Like, it'll be interesting. My big issue would be, and I say big issue, nitpicky issue.
Hmm.
There would have been some kind of reference with all the scientific minds we have to, hey, do you remember them 4 scientists that just disappeared in the 60s?
So here's my thought on that little nitpicky thing. What if? Because the I don't know, because we don't know if the quantum realm goes across multiverses. If it's the same quantum realm
I
connecting,
would assume not.
so each one's got its own.
Mm.
Okay, so I was about to make a suggestion that I kind of because my thought was, what if he is from a different multiverse, and the Reed Richards in ours never was a scientist or whatever, and he got stuck in the quantum realm, and that's why he's never mentioned. But we also thought in the past on whether there's different TVAs and different. So that would mean quantum realms are linked to the multiverse they're in or the universe they're in. It does prove a point, like because also there's the fact of like, okay, if Reed Richards, this is Reed Richards, and he's been stuck in the quantum realm, where the fuck have the other three been? Like, where are they stuck that we haven't yet heard about them? Because quantum realm, I can kind of get behind. Like, we really know fuck all about it. We haven't explored it, but we've been all over fucking space now.
They at Marvel they seem to be obsessed with the quantum realm,
So
and that's
you,
not necessarily a bad thing.
no,
I'm wondering if they go because we know based on Janet's concern in the trailer that the quantum realm's a bit of a kooky place.
yeah, and
Instead of it being a space mission that gives them powers, you could argue they got trapped in the quantum realm for so long, having gone in there in the 60s,
mm,
that um it's altered them and given them their abilities. I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
rather than the space.
But I just because it's not even like, oh well, they weren't famous, so why would anyone have spoken about them? We live in the real world. People who aren't already famous go missing, and it is headline news for a long time. I
My,
feel like if 4 scientists were to go missing, your Bruce Banners, your Tony Starks would have been curious as to what they were working on. Just like, oh, they went missing. What were they working on? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh,
I
I can definitely see how they might make it work. I just feel like this could be a bit
they're gonna have to be
unless they
careful.
make it some kind of like shield cover up.
Well, this is what I was gonna say. Like, there was a lot. If you think back to like Tony Stark's dad and the stuff he was working on, Tony didn't know anything about that. And like even the atom being hidden in that map, like that stuff is from like if Shield has like hidden it sort of in plain eye, some of this stuff, or like really covered it up. Um,
What if they
then
go that they were shield scientists in the 60s and then they were working on something with the Tesseract
yeah,
and then they went missing, we might have some options there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they'd want to go back to the Tesseract.
No, I don't know if they'll link it to the
Shield is their best
Tesseract
bet.
though. I think yeah,
Shield is
I
their
think
best bet.
Shield's their best bet. I think they could very easily they've got to be careful because then like surely what's is it what's the original Ant-Man guy, old man?
Hank. That's
Hank.
literally what I was about to say. We've seen a flashback of Hank punching Tony in not Tony, Tony's dad in the face, um,
Mm-hmm.
while working for Shield. Young Reed Richards, even if they made him so he was super young while working at Shield, would have riled up Hank. If he'd have gone missing, Hank would have made reference to him.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking. I was like, Hank was back then as well. And like if even like if it was separate, then he like somehow his research into the quantum stuff would have overlapped in some way.
Unless they make it. Oh, what if they make it like Reed was Hank's protege, and
After Hank
Reed
left.
Reed like fucked up, and him and Sue and Johnny and Ben all got sucked in, and Hank just doesn't talk about it because it's like his great shame.
Well, what if Hank left, didn't he? Because he didn't want to.
Yeah.
What if it's like after he left,
Reed picked up his
Shield
research.
were like, right, here you go, figure out this. They tried to figure it out, fucked up and disappeared. So then Shield's like, oh shit, maybe we don't fuck with this.
I don't know if the timeline lines up. It could do. It might do. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not sure if it does. If the timeline does line up for that, that might be their best bet. But again, this is all speculation. This could be a complete red herring.
Yeah.
Just so that we're off on the wrong tangent.
Well,
so that Marvel gets to do their favorite. I didn't see that coming.
Well, let's be honest. In 2 months, we're going to know because production starts in January, and we know
if they manage to avoid leaks from this set,
no, they're not.
I'll be baffled.
They're not. Some photo is going to leak mid-February. I'm going to predict we're going to get some photo. We'll have some photo, whether it's some set and there's no actors or something like that gives away like the theme, if that makes sense.
Oh my god! I just realised what the bait is. It is set in the 60s, but the characters are not from the 60s. They are from the present day. They accidentally get transported back, and the film is them in the 60s trying to get back.
Because they fucked around with quantum shit. That could actually be.
It is set in the 60s, but they're from the modern day. Yeah, that'd be a brilliant bait and switch.
It would, because we've totally been taking this as the whole thing.
It starts in the 60s. It doesn't have to.
That's true. That's very true.
We'll see. But it's interesting nonetheless.
Ant-Man's gonna set something up for this.
Okay, here's the problem, Hori, and I 100% agree. We've said this for like the last 3 projects now.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It might be possible that we are a bit too horny for the Fantastic Four.
Maybe it'll be Loki season 2.
Just every time it's not that project, and then before we know it, the next project's gonna be Fantastic Four. It's like, well, it's got to be now.
Well, do you know what it's gonna be? We're thinking all these like the big main projects. It's gonna be like What If season 2. There's just going to be some
people to watch season 2.
Yeah, there's just going to be one of the What If ones is actually going to be set as our world, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, there's mentioning Fantastic Four in What If, but they can't in the MCU." But then they're like, "Haha, this was all
debated."
Just at the end of season 2 of What If, there's a random MCU post-credit scene, just totally unrelated. But yeah.